January 28th, 1985. The biggest stars in music history gathered in a Hollywood studio for one night that would change everything. But what if I told you that the most important song lyrics ever written for charity were completed in just 2.5 hours, the night before? That Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie almost didn't finish them in time? And that one phone call from Harry Belafonte set in motion the creation of lyrics that would unite the world and save millions of lives. This is the untold story of how We Are the World came to life. To understand how these legendary lyrics came to exist, we need to go back to late 1984. The world was watching in horror as the 1983-1985 famine in Ethiopia killed about 1 million people. Images of starving children filled television screens across America, but the response felt inadequate. Then something remarkable happened. In the UK, musicians came together to record Do They Know It's Christmas?, a charity single that raised millions for famine relief. Inspired by Band Aid's Do They Know It's Christmas in the UK, the American entertainer and activist Harry Belafonte decided to organize a US equivalent. Belafonte had a vision. He planned to have the proceeds donated to a new organization, United Support of Artists for Africa, USA for Africa. But he needed more than just good intentions. He needed the perfect song, and he needed the biggest stars in America to sing it. I received this call from Harry Belafonte, and he wants to do some kind of song for famine relief in Africa, Lionel Richie later recalled. But Belafonte didn't just want any song. He wanted lyrics that would move the world to action. Belafonte contacted the entertainment manager and fundraiser Ken Cragen, who faced an impossible task: convince the biggest egos in music to work together for free and do it all in one night. But first, they needed the song. And that's where the real pressure began. Jackson and Richie completed the writing the night before the first recording session on January 28th, 1985. Think about that. Less than 24 hours before the most star-studded recording session in history, they still didn't have finished lyrics. The writing process was unlike anything either artist had experienced before. This wasn't about creating a hit single for personal success. This was about crafting words that could literally save lives. The pressure was enormous. Richie and Jackson completed the lyrics and melody of We Are the World within 2.5 hours. But those weren't just any 2.5 hours. They were perhaps the most important 150 minutes in charity music history. I used to ask my sister Janet to follow me into a room with interesting acoustics like a closet or the bathroom, and I'd sing to her just a note, a rhythm of a note. Michael Jackson once revealed about his writing process. But for We Are the World, that intimate personal approach had to create something universal. What makes the lyrics to We Are the World so powerful isn't just their message. It's how Jackson and Richie crafted words that could be sung by dozens of different voices while maintaining a single, unified, emotional truth. Richie credits Jackson for writing the titular line, We Are the World, the phrase that would become the song's emotional anchor. But the genius wasn't just in that one line. It was in how they structured the entire lyrical journey. The opening needed to immediately establish the crisis. The verses had to paint a picture of both suffering and hope. The chorus required words so simple and powerful that they could be understood in any language, by any culture. And the bridge needed to deliver the call to action that would inspire millions to donate. Jackson and Richie weren't just writing lyrics, they were crafting a musical manifesto for global unity. Every word had to serve the cause. Every phrase had to transcend the individual singers and become something larger. The collaborative process was unlike anything they'd done before. Jackson brought his incredible sense of melody and rhythm. Richie contributed his mastery of storytelling and emotional connection. Together, they created something neither could have achieved alone. But perhaps the most brilliant aspect of their lyrics was the balance between urgency and hope. They had to make people feel the desperation of the situation without making them feel hopeless about solving it. On January 28, 1985, the event brought together some of the era's best-known recording artists, including Bruce Springsteen, Cyndi Lauper, and dozens more. But even with the finished lyrics in hand, the real test was just beginning. The greatest artists of a generation came together to save some lives. But we only had one night to get this right, Richie recalled. The pressure was immense, not just to get the technical recording right, but to make sure the lyrics carried their intended emotional weight. Some of the featured singers also played a key role in producing the song during a hectic recording session. For example, Bob Dylan was struggling with his part, showing that even with perfect lyrics, bringing them to life required every ounce of artistic collaboration. The lyrics had to work not just as poetry, but as a musical experience that could showcase each artist's unique voice while serving the larger message. Watching Bruce Springsteen, Diana Ross, Michael Jackson and others interpret the same words in their own styles proved that Richie and Jackson had created something truly universal. When We Are the World was released, it didn't just become a hit, it became a global phenomenon. The song became a global #1 hit, selling more than 20 million copies and raising funds for famine and medical relief in Africa. But the real measure of the lyrics' power wasn't in record sales, it was in lives saved. The words that Jackson and Richie wrote in those crucial 2.5 hours generated millions of dollars for famine relief, providing food, medical care, and hope to countless families in Africa. The song's impact went beyond immediate charity. It created a template for how music could be used as a force for global good. The lyrics proved that the right words, sung by the right voices, could literally change the world. Countries around the world created their own versions, translating the core message while maintaining the emotional power of the original lyrics. This wasn't just an American charity single, it became a global anthem for human compassion. Nearly 4 decades later, We Are the World remains the gold standard for charity music. The lyrics that Jackson and Richie created in those pressure-filled hours continue to inspire new generations of artists and activists. The song proved that great lyrics are not just about personal expression. They're about finding words that can unite humanity around our shared values. Jackson and Richie didn't just write a song. They wrote a prayer, a pledge, and a promise all rolled into one. The story of We Are the World reminds us that sometimes the most important art is created not for fame or fortune, but for the simple, powerful purpose of helping others. In just 2.5 hours, 2 musical geniuses found the words that the world needed to hear. What's your favorite moment from We Are the World? Do you think music still has the power to unite the world like this today? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories behind the songs that shaped our world and saved countless lives.